Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are taking a look at, well, basically the new Super Strike mission that has been added in to Dbz Dokkan battle as part of part 2 of the Whirling Cherry Blossoms celebration. So this is the success fail, a fusion of super forces, and there's two super strike units that you can grab from here. You can get Gotenks Failure A and Gotenks Failure B. Now obviously with two units means technically double the grind, but yeah, obviously the goal here is that there are technically also some more stones from the missions, and the missions are fairly simple, for the most part pretty easy to track and follow, although I will obviously be running you through the event to make it as simple as possible for you to keep up with what you need to do to max out the units, to max out the EZAs, and to max out the stone rewards from the event as efficiently as possible, as we always do with Super Strike missions. In total there's quite a sizable amount of stones you can get from here, almost 30 stones, so it's pretty worth it to invest some time to complete the Super Strike. So let's begin. Basically, to cut a long story short, the first stage will drop both copies of Gotenks. So they'll drop Gotenks Failure A and Gotenks Failure B. The stage itself does have a heavily advanced bonus. This is true for all the stages. Please remember that your bonuses are dependent on the rarity of the units that you take. So if you take a bunch of LR units, for example, your bonus in total will be higher than a player who doesn't. You can also use items like Oolong and like Vegeta and Bulla GT or support memories to obviously increase your bonus chance. So this will increase your drop rate, which will increase the amount of rewards, which will reduce the amount of stamina you use. Most players don't suggest using bonuses either, or boosts. I personally don't see a problem with using boosts. A lot of players like to hold them for link leveling, but I think that's much of a muchness. It's pretty pedantic, but if you're one of those people, then just rather use the support memories. Avoid the fight with Piccolo. It's really not mandatory. It does not boost the amount of characters you get, and you'll have a very simple fight where you just need to defeat two enemies and then you'll be given basically a randomized amount of characters. Now you could get really unlucky and get a whole bunch of Gotenks Failure A, or you could get a whole bunch of Gotenks Failure B, but generally I found it averages out pretty well. Yeah, I found that there wasn't like a major problem with only getting one type of unit. I think it was fairly even the whole way through. I got like one stage where I had mainly A, and then second attempt where I had mainly B, but obviously sometimes it can be a bit unlucky for you, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, obviously it will depend on each person, so it can just in general be a little bit how can I say, RNG based. But generally speaking, the first stage is not hard in any way, shape or form. And what you're looking to do here is you're looking to collect 14 copies, or 15 copies I should say, of Failure A and 15 copies of Failure B. And you'll need 15 copies because you want to have one copy at SA10, which you're going to see now, and a second copy of that unit at SA5. This is because Super Strike units, when they awaken to their UR state, get an SA of 15, and when they EZA get an SA of 20. Now the rest of the copies we'll get from all the missions, but it's super important that when you start you farm at least 15 copies of each. You'll have one copy SA10, one copy SA5. Now you'll move on to the next stage, and the next stage is actually stage 2 and 3, and these will drop the medals respectively for Failure A and Failure B, or otherwise known as Fat Gotenks and Skinny Gotenks. Now you are going to need 7 medals for each awakening, and you need to awaken both the SA5 and the SA10 unit. So what this means is it means in general you're going to need 14 medals in total to awaken these units to their UR state. Now you have to awaken both units because again we want to train the SA of the Fat Gotenks and Skinny Gotenks to SA15 once they awaken. So it's super important that you collect both medals. So you will need to run stage 2 enough times to have 14 medals for Fat Gotenks, and stage 3 enough times for 14 medals for Skinny Gotenks. I'm not going to show you both stages because they're essentially the same thing. In stage 2, you face a physical fat Gotenks, and in stage 3, you face a TEQ skinny Gotenks. But in reality, there's not any difference in terms of how the event runs. It's just a slight typing change. So that's really it. Once you've completed these stages enough times to have 14 medals, you can then awaken these units, and then that's when the steps get kind of a little bit tricky. So what we'll be doing is we're going to obviously time skip, as I've been doing, do my little hit time skip technique, and basically we'll jump ahead to where I have the 14 medals. I will then Dokkan awaken the unit, and then obviously, awaken the unit to their UR state, and then I'll run you guys through all the missions and everything at that point, because obviously it's quite important. But yeah, remember, please, 14 medals, 7 for each copy, and you need to awaken both. That's your next step, but we'll be doing that together, so don't panic too much. And remember, you get Fat Gotenks from stage 2, and you get Skinny Gotenks as medals from stage 3. So, as you can probably tell, I did the impressive hit time skip, and now we're going to awaken both sets of units. So before you collect mission rewards, before you do anything, go back to your box, awaken both units, the SA10 unit and the SA15 unit. You're then going to train the SA10 unit and use the SA5 unit to raise them to SA15. So you'll see that kind of happen now on the screen. We're going to train the Fat Gotenks here, excellent, feed him the second copy. You'll see his SA goes to 15. This is because 10 plus 5, get it, makes 15. Pretty simple concept, but for those who are confused, any unit that has the exact same name, if their SA is 6 for example, and your unit has 4, together they will make 10 instead of it just adding 1 to the SA level. So do this for both units. This will mean that you should have 2 units Z awakened and max leveled at 100 and with SA 15. This should kind of be where you stop in inverted commas, and then you're going to go collect your rewards from the missions. So you'll see here we've got the 2 copies and they're at level 100. Now we'll go collect the mission rewards, and then we need to unlock their hidden potential systems. So we go back to the event, we go to the missions, and you'll see that for completing their SA and awakening them, we get multiple copies of the units. We get 6 in total. We'll be using 4 of them to awaken their hidden potential systems, and this will in turn give us another 3 copies, meaning we should be left with 5 SSR copies of these units left over. It's important to make sure that you have those 5, because you're going to need them to eventually change their SA level from 15 to 20 when they EZA. So that's basically this next step. You can see we're quickly awakening the hidden potential system, making sure that we have every single path open. Then we'll have 2 copies of the SSR of the unit left over, which should be pretty straightforward. Now we go back to the missions, and they'll give us 3 more copies, which will leave us with a total spare copies of 5. Pretty straightforward. Don't delete these or throw these away, you're going to be using them when you max the EZA of these units. But for now, it's to move on to their Dokkan Awakenings, which is stage 4 and 5 respectively. Stage 4 will drop the Dokkan Awakening medals for Fat Gotenks, and stage 5 will drop the Dokkan Awakening medals for Skinny Gotenks. Now, in terms of these medals, you need 10 of each for each unit. So you need 10 Fat Gotenks medals for Fat Gotenks and 10 Skinny Gotenks medals for Skinny Gotenks. So because we have to, yes you guessed it, Dokkan Awaken both copies, we are going to need in total 20 medals. So you're going to need these 20 medals for each unit as well, which means you're going to need the 20 Fat Gotenks and the 20 Skinny Gotenks. Now this will probably take you the longest. Based on this team I'm using, which is an entirely free-to-play team, I was getting between 3 to 4 medals per run and sometimes 6. And because you need 20, this generally means around 5 to 6 runs per unit, which meant in turn around 240 stamina. So this was definitely the longest part of the event by far. It was also the one that I auto-battled the most because it just wasn't that difficult. The actual stage itself is only one round, one enemy, and yeah, just basically auto-battle. You can use Oolong and you can use GT Bulla and Vegeta here to try and assist you as well. But yeah, basically just a little bit of a farm, essentially, a bit of a stamina drain, but it's really not too big a deal. And remember, you obviously have two separate stages, so just again, stage 4 for Fat Gotenks and stage 5 for Skinny Gotenks. So that's it. We'll then obviously cut across, do another little time skip so that you guys don't have to watch that monotonous grind, and then we'll come back when we have the medals to awaken both units, and then it's finally on to the final stage. So we've awakened, well, gathered the medals to awaken the units, and we have 20. As you can see, I have not raised my other unit to be SA5. You want to do this, by the way, I just haven't done it because I'm lazy. But you want to train the other 5 copies into each other, so you have a second Fat Gotenks and a second Skinny Gotenks that are both SA5. You're then going to train them and obviously Dokkan awaken them as you do the original copies. Make sure you lock the original copies or invest some orbs in them, or do whatever you need to do to make sure that you keep them different. You don't want to actually feed the one that you've opened the hidden potential path of into the one you haven't and then waste your whole time. I've done that before by mistake, and I've had to go through the whole process again without any of the bonus missions, and it takes a while. The final stage is the Extreme Z Awakening Medal stage. This stage has 2 missions, so basically, well, it has a couple missions. It has it for clearing the stage in under 10 turns, clearing it in under 5 turns, using a team that is all Heavenly Events category units, and using a team that has Super Boo on it. Now, all of these missions essentially account for 1 run, so if you can't do any of the missions, don't panic. Simply take your strongest team, complete the stage 6 times in total, and you'll have enough Easy A medals. If you want to cut down on your time and reduce it to 3, all you have to do is, well, follow my lead. You can use the exact team we've been using this entire time, but you're going to need to sub in a Super Boo for one of your characters. I personally suggest the Strength Vegeta and Trunks, just because why not? And I would personally suggest the Strength Super Boo, but you can use the Tech Super Boo, the Physical Super Boo, whichever Super Boo you have that's not going to get you killed, basically. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. And then from there, it's pretty simple. You just run the same team. You can take items, 3 sets. I didn't use any, but you're welcome to take maybe some items that will accelerate you. You can take some Bulma items to give yourself some extra attack, and just give yourself some extra options. Once you enter the stage, you only have number 1 tiles. You can pick up all of these orbs, or sorry, capsules, on the ground, and yeah, basically speaking, you just have to now beat this event, and you should be good to go. So you beat this event, you're going to need to beat it a further 2 times. If you don't beat it in under 5 turns, you're going to have to beat it a 4th time. And that's it. Everything else is covered by these units. By having this team, everything else is basically achieved. So you can collect your medals, collect your prize, collect everything, and you should be good to go. It wasn't too difficult with this team, to be honest with you. Just sync up the Piccolo and Krillin with the AGL Gohan, and you'll be fine. You can float the Super Boo, and then on the other rotation I had Strength Goten and Physical Goku, and yeah, that was basically it. The 3rd phase, the unit will shift typing between the TEQ Gotenks and the Physical Gotenks, and sometimes also a blue like Successful Gotenks, and that's just, how it is. But generally speaking, it was pretty simple. It really wasn't the hardest Super Strike final stage. It was fairly routine. So once you've done that, obviously, as you can see from me, you'll receive your reward, and you'll also complete a bunch of the missions. Like I said, you're going to have to run this another 2 times or another 3 times if you don't beat it in under 5 turns. But once you've done so, you will have completed all of the missions, and then you can collect your rewards, and you will have enough medals to easy A the units. So yeah, Like I said, if you can't do the missions, you're just gonna have to run the stage 6 times, which can be frustrating, but yeah, you can at least still get the medals. And then at that point, all you have to do is easy A them, feed them the second copy, and you're good to go. You have basically maxed out the units and you can collect all the rewards. It's a fairly simple super strike. It's just got 2 units. So if you've done a super strike before, I don't anticipate you having that many problems with this event. But yeah, as always guys, if you ever need any help, please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one, and we'll take a look at how both units do at 100%. But that's it from me. Bye.